was that? Does anyone know?
1973. No.
Close. So We Will Rock You was made in 1977, and this was in Live Aid in 1985. I'm watching the video from Live Aid. It's 100,000 people going bananas for the entire show. And there was one thing that happened in that show that doesn't go on nowadays. They didn't have phones. And I saw people who were so present, who were so excited to be alive, that I was like, man, I want to relive that night. So I came up with this new skit, and you all are the first live audience to be able to hear this. Yeah! So I was inspired by two different situations that made me want to talk about some of this stuff. I've been working out at Lifetime, been doing my thing, and there is this new guy who started working there. Every time I see the dude, he's like this. Ooh, on his phone. And I can't blame him because it reminded me a lot of when I got my hands on my first Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine. I couldn't take my eyes off that thing. I feel like this kid is missing out on so much. I'm like, dude, look up. There's all these beautiful girls in these $200 Lululemon workout outfits that are a hell of a lot better than this filter crap you're looking at on Instagram. And so I couldn't blame him, though, because I feel like we're in an in-person attention epidemic. People would rather so much get attention on the phones than in person, but in reality, it's the reverse. People actually want that attention in person. And there was another girl who inspired me. I was out at SantaCon. Anybody ever been to SantaCon in here? Yeah. T's like, one too many times. So SantaCon is basically a day where everyone dresses up as Santa Claus. So I'm talking to these two girls, and believe it or not, one of them was actually into me. And then, the other one, she's just making these funny faces with her phone, like, I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And she said, yeah, I'm just Snapchatting the guy I want to have sex with tonight. I said, oh, like, I don't have Snapchat. Would you care to expand on that? I said, well, it's the new version, the Gen Z version of flirting. I said, oh, okay, that's how it works. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what was sex like before phone sex? I can guarantee you one thing, it probably felt a lot better. So I was inspired. I was like, you know what? I want to do this skit, and I'm going to call it No Phones, Please. And I wanted to encourage people to be a little bit more present. So hopefully, this next 20 minutes, I could take you on a little bit of a ride. And in my journey, on my ride to being more present, I've been studying people, places, and creatures that don't have access to a phone. Not too long ago, I was sitting outside the toy store. I know what you're thinking. So I was just sitting there, and this little kid walks into the toy store. His dad's holding him up, and he just has this big smile on his face. And it reminded me a lot of when I was on my buddy's bachelor party, and the boys hit Grandview after midnight. Now, if you don't know what Grandview is, it's a gentleman's club, and you can't have phones in there. So this place, the boys were just hyping up the entire bachelor party. I was a day late, so I missed the first night. And I meet them up on the golf course. They could not stop talking about this place. I'm like, how good could the Grandview possibly be? They said, listen, it's phenomenal, but there's this one girl, Crystal. You have to see her perform tonight. She's the best you will ever see. I said, all right. So we stumble on in there the next day after midnight. As we're walking in there, there's the place for the ones. You give them like 100, and then they give you this big stack of ones. I was pretty new to this, so I get this whole stack of ones, and we walk in there, and I had no idea what to expect. So there was rows deep of people. There was literally 3 rows deep of people. I've never been to the Super Bowl, but this felt pretty damn close to that. People are just, Rah! So what would happen is a girl would come out to her song, and then she would do her thing. And it was pretty fun. Like, you're cheering on, cheering on, cheering on. Then all of a sudden, all the guys go, "This is the girl!" I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. I kid you not, it was like a 10-year younger version of current Giselle, just walking down the runway like she was in Victoria's Secret. And then all of a sudden, she gets her Simone Biles in her when she jumped on the pole. So next thing you know, she's doing her thing all the way around it, and she's upside down. Feet are all the way at the top, hands are at the bottom, kicks one leg off, kicks another leg off, and somersaults right into my face. Does a split, and she starts crawling towards me. And she just goes, "Come closer, honey." And the look on my face that day was a lot like when the kid walked into the toy store, he took a left, and then he picked up his first set of Legos, and he said, "I gotta have that." Now, unfortunately, after the ones ran out, I couldn't have her anymore. But what a rush it was to be in an atmosphere without phones. So, believe it or not, before I was speaking in front of crowds, I was actually a personal trainer. Yeah, you could give it up for that. I was proud of that. And I used to train people at their houses, and this one lady, she goes, "Brandon, it's a crazy thing. When I walk into my house and my husband is there, it's like I'm a ghost. He can't even see me. I don't get a little, 'Hey, how's your day going?' or 'Hey,' none of that, not even a hand raise. But then, when the dog's there and I walk in, it's like I'm the Queen of England. Jumps on my leg, does a little dog hug, wants to play, give me all the possible attention I could get. And I said, I think I'm gonna try and be a little bit more like a dog." Like, seriously, how nice would it be to be a dog? I mean, think about it. Think about it. We're in Stamford, Connecticut, the town of the dogs. You walk down the street, a dog comes up to you, total stranger, and all of a sudden you love the dog. You bark, all of a sudden you get food. You drool, and people think it's cute? How great is that? I am just so jealous. If you're a dog owner in this room, can you make a little bit of noise? All right, so I want to learn. I want to learn how to be more like a dog. My friend back there, I met at the donut eating contest. I know you have a dog. Everybody was coming up to his dog. What do you like about your dog?
Yeah, recently his balls just dropped. He's pretty free with the humping, so.
So one of the things I like about dogs is how approachable they are. They just go up and they're so friendly. It was nice for me to kind of hear a little bit of that because 7 months ago, unfortunately, I got the text message. I feel like everybody could relate. I think we should take a break. So I've been on this 7-month break, and I feel like there's a lot of benefits to being single, including the friends with benefits, although I'm still trying to figure out where to find those. Does anyone know? So, but seriously, I've been working on myself. I started studying this dating coach. Her name's Blaine. And she said she did this case study with 13,000 single women. And she said on that survey, 95% of single women said they wish they were approached in real life more. I needed to hear that. I'd been off the apps for 5 years. And I was like, you know what? Do I shake some rust off and do I go back on there? But I was like, nah, I'm gonna try and be more like a dog. So as I started being more like a dog, I started studying a lot of different things. And one of them, I was in a conversation with my mentor. He's 70, he grew up without a phone. And he said that he was delayed 1 hour at the airport. He was just sitting at the airport bar, he was having a drink. And this girl comes up next to him. She's pretty cute, she's probably in her 20s, and he turns over to her and goes, "Hey, how's your day going?" And she looks over at him, realizes he's about 50 years older, so she's safe. And She said, oh, it's going pretty good. And then she kept talking. 5 minutes into the conversation, she brings up the ex-boyfriend. All he had to do the rest of the conversation was go, oh, no way, he said that. Or, oh, okay. And he said they talked for an hour that day. He heard her whole life story. I feel like people overcomplicate it a little bit. I was studying Bill Belichick, 71 years old. If you know who Bill Belichick is, just make some noise so I get a feel of the audience. Okay, so he's the most well-known football coach ever. And I read that he was dating a 24-year-old former Houston Texans cheerleader. What? Bill Belichick? So I had to start Googling this, and I look it up. I find out that Bill Belichick is actually dating a 24-year-old former Houston Texans cheerleader. Woo! Yeah, so, yeah, go Bill. Woo. I find out that Bill met his current girlfriend sitting next to her on a plane. And I bet you he used something very magical, like, hey, how's your day going? So I've been messing around with the simple openers as I've been trying to be more like a dog. And I've been saying, what are you celebrating today? Or, oh, that looks like a really fun game. Can I join? And then it's like, how is the night going? And it's been working like magic. I've been finding myself in good conversations very organically. And when you find yourself in good conversations organically, the other person typically takes interest. So I had started coming up with this fake identity, this fake job, as you say, to spice things up a little bit more and have a little bit more fun with my conversations, because the number one question that I always get asked when I first meet someone is, Brandon, what do you do? So I was having a good time out and about at Bradford's. I know many of you have been there. We could give a little applause for Bradford's, yeah. Yeah. Lee's like, I spent too many nights there. I was there, I was having a good time, and this girl locks eyes with me once from across the room. And John Mendez, when a girl locks eyes with you once, what does that mean? It means you got a chance. So I'm there doing my thing. There are a lot of people are dancing, so I'm dancing, having a good time. And then from across the room, she locks eyes with me twice. John Mendez, when they lock eyes with you twice, what does that mean? It means she want to dance. It means she want to dance. So I start going closer. She starts coming closer. We start dancing. We're doing our thing. You know, how could she resist these moves? Come on. So we dance for a couple songs. The music goes down. And then she comes in there, and we start talking. And, of course, she says, so, hey, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm actually an actor. She goes, oh, no way. I may have seen some of your films. She said, what type of films are you in? I said, well, I'm in the adult film industry. She said, oh, my gosh. Opens her mouth up wide, locks eyes with me a third time, and John Mendez, when they lock eyes with you a third time, what does that mean? She's trying to get in your pants. She's trying to get in the pants. So I knew she wanted to flirt, and her curiosity sparked the rest of the night. She kept asking me questions, and this is where I get in trouble because I keep playing along with it. So I said, back in the 2020, I was looking for some new opportunities, and I met this guy at the bar. And he said, hey, I'm in this industry. Would you want to come check out a production? I said, sure. I would love to come check out a production. I'm looking to make a little bit more money. So I go to the production studio. I see how professional it is. And I'm like, you know what? This is kind of cool. So I joined on in 2021. I started to fall in love with the process, especially the practice, because I had to meet with the actresses to try and figure out how to get more views. So we would meet on a regular basis, just like you would for working out. And I started to fall in love with the process. And then she's like, well, how does everything else work? I said, well, we have documents that we have to sign for the non-competes. And then And then, if we're with a new actress, we have to sign an STD waiver. And she's like, oh, no way, that's so professional. So I didn't think too much of it. Because I did this to a lot of people just for fun. Like, I just do this. Like, I think they know I'm joking, but then sometimes I feel like I'm too good at my fake job where they don't. So I'm like, where do I go from here? Nowhere. I just ended it there. I hadn't seen this girl. Yeah, exactly. I hadn't seen this girl for 2 months. And then, of course, I'm at Bradford's again, and I see her from across the room. And I go, hey, what's up? She says, hey. And then, like 5 minutes later, she comes up to me with her friend. Meanwhile, this is 2 months later, and this girl followed me on Instagram. So I thought 100% she knew I was joking about that. She comes up to me, and she's like, oh my gosh, I've been telling my friends for the last 2 months that I met a porn star at Bradford's. I said, oh. And then her friend's right there. She's like, oh my gosh, can you tell me what the industry is like? So I have to tell her what the industry is like. And I've never felt what it feels like to be a celebrity, but that night I certainly did. This girl's like buying me drinks. She's taking pictures with me. I would leave her, and then she would come back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I wish every night was like this. I guess it is with my fake job. So at the end of the night, she goes, hey, sorry, my friend got a little bit too drunk. I gave her the keys to my apartment, and she passed out, and now I can't get in my room. I said, well, don't worry, girl. I got the keys to the studio. And she saw the full production that night. Thank you. In this new year, I've been in this new year, new me type of phase since I've been single, and I've been trying to experience new things. A couple of months ago, my buddy was like, hey, do you want to watch me eat donuts tomorrow? I said, I don't know, why would I want to watch you eat donuts? He said, well, I entered the 3rd annual Belle Dottie's donut eating contest last minute, and you were there 4.5 years ago when I won my last competitive eating competition. Without further ado, we got a celebrity in the house. Give it up for Rob Tracy. You can stand up. Yeah. I said, yeah, I'll go there. How many meatballs do you think this guy ate in 5 minutes? Stand up so everybody can see this iron stomach. 67. All right. 67. All right, so 67, 50, 30, 20, 10, 8, 9. This dude ate 57 meatballs in 5 minutes. So we get in there, I see the champ, and I said, hey, Rob, what do you need from me? Do you need me to hype you up? He's like, no, I'm scoping out the competition. Meanwhile, he's living in the past. He has his 4.5-year-old Fortina belt. And I said, I know you're not wearing that because you lost weight. He's like, no, I'm trying to intimidate the field, and I'm looking for the champ. We're trying to figure out who the champ is, and someone points him out, and we find out that it's this dude all the way at the other end. And I said, what did this dude get out of the anorexia clinic? He was like 150 pounds, 5'10". The dude looked like he'd been fasting for 7 days. I said, damn, you're in for some trouble, because when a skinny dude is in the competitive eating competition, you know that he means business. So all of the 10 people lined up there, you were competing in it, right? You were competing in there. Yeah, so we got 2 of the competition in here. So 10 of the people line up, and there's this guy with the mic who's edifying everybody. Rob made the mistake of talking about his fake identity, and he's the former unofficial mayor of Stamford. So the guy goes, all right, and now introducing Rob Tracy. He goes by the former unofficial mayor of Stamford, but I don't know why he's calling himself that, because nobody knows him. And I realized that I didn't step up for you, Rob. I really didn't step up for you. These donut eating fans, they go hard. So there was one lady, there was one lady with donut rings, another lady with a shirt that said, "This is my six-pack," and then another lady with a cardboard cutout that said, "Do not," like donut, "sweat the competition." And I said, man, I did not come prepared. So I'm like, I'm gonna use my voice to step up my fan game. So Rob is about one donut behind, and he's clearly in second place. So I start yelling, "Faster, faster, faster." But then that reminded me a little bit too much about my ex when things were good in the bedroom. So, damn. So I'm like, all right, new cheer, new cheer. What can I say? What can I say? Rob is trailing. Now he's at 1.5 donuts behind. What can I say? So I start yelling, "Keep it up! Keep it up! Come on, keep it up!" But then that reminded me a little bit too much about the girl I tried to rebound with. Just wasn't feeling it that night. So I'm like, all right, what can I say? I need to step it up. He's now 2 donuts behind with 2 minutes left. Enough of my cheers. Enough of my cheers. So I look to the girl to the left of me, and she is cheering on her boyfriend. Now, her boyfriend was a rookie in the competition, and like most rookies, they think they have it all figured out. So he decides to stack 4 donuts, crush them together, and try and take these big bites. And that was giving him a good chance for last place. The problem was with this guy is he was trying to take these big bites, but he was straight, so he wasn't used to opening up his mouth that wide. He's like biting at it like a rat. I'm like, bro, you gotta take bigger bites than that. A toddler could beat you out here. So his girlfriend is yelling, "You suck! You suck! Why you eating so slow? Why you eating so slow?" I feel like it was a win-win. I feel like it was a win-win for her because he ate too much, so she won't have to cook dinner tonight, and his tongue got a lot of exercise. So when it's recovered, the next time that they're doing their thing, he's gonna be eating a lot faster when he pleasures her. And she won't be yelling, "Why are you eating so slow? Why are you eating so slow?" In all seriousness, as I close this set, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. The only way for this set to get better is through people. I've been going to open mics all over the place, from waiting 4 hours to get 5 minutes on the mic, to go into porn studio setups just to speak in front of 5 people. You name it, I've been doing it, and the only way to get this better from here is through all you incredible people. And lastly, I don't think you all know how much I care about you when you come to one of my events. I seriously don't. I think since I have so many events, people are always like, "Brandon just wants us to come to his event." No, what I want you to do is I want you to connect with people. I want you to have a good time. And after our first comedy show, there was a guy sitting in the back. This hat was made in his memory, and I'm gonna wear it for this last minute. He always used to light up the room anytime I would see him. His name's Casey Stopa. Every time I would see him at an event, he would always just smile and dap me up. He was the first guy to dap me up after my first comedy set, and I'll never forget that moment, and I'll never forget all of you being here today. When I got into comedy, I said there's no way I'm gonna get into comedy unless I can tie personal development into each joke. And all jokes aside, if you take one thing away from today, it's I hope you can spend a little bit more time off your phone so you can be a little bit more present and enjoy all the beautiful people and all the incredible experiences that we have around us. And maybe if you do that, you can have an incredible time like I did that night at the Grandview when that girl came up to me and said, "Come closer, baby." Thank you so much. I appreciate you all being here. Yeah.